So, ladies and gentlemen, chairing this session will be Vandana Sethhi, founder and CEO, Water Communications and Earth Films. An attitude called advertising is the signature of Vandana Sethhi. 3 decades in the business of advertising, brand building and communications in different avatars and of course various hierarchies. As founder of Water Communications and Earth Films, Vandana ji has taken communications to a whole different level altogether. Our speakers, I introduce them in alphabetical order. Our first speaker for the day, for this session is Bhavik Bhandari, CSMO Ashwin Shade Group. Bhavik ji is a result-driven CXO with over 2 decades of experience leading transformative initiatives in sales, marketing, CRM, and business strategy across different industries. He has led large cross-functional teams across multiple geographies, collaborating with international design consultants, media houses, and leading publications to align stakeholders and drive organizational objectives. We also have with us today Mr. Chaitanya, Seth, partner and consulting leader, real estate, EY-Parthenon. Chaitanya ji is a partner with EY-Parthenon and leads a consulting practice for the real estate sector. He carries over 20 plus years of experience and has advised and mentored over 40 plus developers, with the largest developer to a startup developer. Over here, there's no differentiation over there. I think that's the most wonderful part. His focus has been on advising and enabling developers on growth agenda, sales velocity, customer experiences, cost reduction, productivity improvements, and digital transformation. His focus has always been to help developers solve problems through strategy, operating models, process, data, and of course, technology. We also have with us today Jayesh, Rathod, co-founder and director of the Guardians Real Estate Advisory. Jayesh ji has over 22 years of extensive experience in marketing, organizational strategy, and product development. Under his guidance, the company has not only differentiated itself from competitors, but has also set new, various interesting industry standards, establishing itself as a leader in the real estate advisory space. His visionary approach and ability to drive collaboration has been crucial to the company's success and continued growth in this very dynamic real estate sector. We also have with us today Rahul Phondge, Chief Operating Officer, Residential ANAROCK. Rahul ji spearheads residential business operations across the country. In addition, he oversees a diverse business solutions portfolio encompassing ANAROCK's creative, digital, and event agency, home loan services, post-sales support, and a lot more. With over 25 years of experience, Rahul ji also brings a wealth of expertise from distinguished roles at McDonald's, Times of India, Lodha Group, and of course, Tata Realty. We also have with us today Rakesh, Setia, President Sales and Marketing from Rustomjee Group. Rakesh ji has more than 3 decades of experience and has worked with top consumer brands such as Kodak, Reebok, Luxor Parker, Hutch, Idea Cellular, and Vodafone Idea Limited across multiple Indian regions. Wow. Over 3 decades, he has worked across various industries across the country and has demonstrated success in every organization during his career. At Rustomjee, he is responsible for sales, marketing, CRM, and strategy functions. Ladies and gentlemen, the introduction part is done and dusted. I can say a lot more, but of course, time will not allow me to say that because of the legacy that they all have created in their respective workspace. Let's not waste any further time. Give them a huge round of applause, please, as I request our honorable moderator and speakers to please join me over here on stage. May I please welcome all of you on stage. Thank you so much. It's an honor and privilege to have all of you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Pleasure. Pleasure. You know, this is Mumbai, and Mumbai is known for its spirit, right? Can I please request all of you to clap loudly? Mumbai ka jo dil hai, wo logo ke samne yahan pe aana chahiye. It can't get more real than that, right? Thank you so much. The panel is set. Everybody is ready. And ma'am, over to you. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the... Sorry. Hi, good evening. My friend who was sitting here before me was talking about Mr. Bachchan. That reminds me, I had also shot with him and it was lovely, lovely experience working with him. So those anecdotes sometimes later. So let's start the discussion for today. Branding is extremely, extremely important for most of the brands, most of the categories. And here in real estate, all the more reasons. So I have lovely eminent panel here. And let's start the panel discussion today. So I'll be coming to Chaitanya, you first. Okay. How can a brand-first approach help achieve higher sales velocity in the competitive real estate market?
So, to answer this, first of all, great question, Vandana. Need to understand that why brand is so important in real estate. You talked about brand is very important, right? We need to understand that the industry traditionally has been a trust deficit industry. Customers are not sure product milega ya nahi milega, whether it will get delivered on time or not, whether it will get delivered to the quality and specifications or not. So there is always a trust deficit traditionally in this industry. Hence, extremely becomes important that the brand is able to kind of create that positioning and mental space in the customer's mind. Customer is signing the biggest check of his life in this case. So extremely important that the developers start thinking that we have to create a position in the mind space of the customer that I can be a trusted brand.
Rahul?
Second,
Sorry, go ahead.
second, I would say it's also about information asymmetry, right? Today, when a customer walks into any developer's site, he knows much more about the project, the trends, the amenities, the pricing changes, the competition, but you don't know anything about the customer.
That's quite interesting. Customer knows about you more than you know about him. So Rahul, coming to you on this note. So what's your input on this?
Thanks, Vandana, for the question. I'll probably put across a couple of data pointers onto the table. On an average, we have been selling around 4.9 lakh homes across top 10 cities. Of course, probably this year there will be a slight dip in the number of units, but I think the average value is increasing. If I look at 10 years back, the organized versus unorganized sectors units was 12% to around 88%. That means organized players are contributing to 12% of the overall velocity, and the rest which is being unorganized. Cut to after a decade or so, it is now contributing to around 32%. So that is a huge delta which is being happening. There is a lot of consolidation, lot of regulation which is being happening, and then the overall developers are moving towards the organized sector. And when I talk about organized sector, it is all branded, listed, people are delivered for the last for a decade or so, which has a solid, loyal base being happening. And if I pick up top 10 developers of India are contributing to the 12% of the market share. So when you tick box of what they have done right, the ability to sell is higher, the ability to command price is higher, and ability to develop consistently with the large customer base is also happening. Especially post-pandemic, we are seeing customers appreciating to the branded developers, and we have Rakesh from Rustomjee and Bhavik from Ashwin Seth will definitely vouch the kind of trust, the kind of affinity towards branded versus non-branded which is being happening. So there has been an organic diversion which had happened towards the branded, and hence which supports the sales velocity.
Great, thank you. On this note, I would like to come to Rakesh. Of course, you know emotional advertising more than any of us. So how are you able to strike that balance between emotional storytelling and the highly data-driven sales strategies?
Okay. So as I have seen in my experience of working with various consumer brands and also taking forward that learning into the real estate space, broadly, for any product category, customer looks at the emotional reasons and the rational reasons. And higher the ticket size, more involved the product category and the frequency of purchase, if it is lesser, you buy a product every day or you buy that once a lifetime. I think these are the three factors which actually influence the ratio between the rational decision and the emotional decision. So in case of real estate as a product, most of the customers are buying homes only once in their lives. It is only few people who would buy maybe more than one home in their life. What happens is that the customer is entrusting you with the entire saving, and then it becomes very important for customer to have that trust in the brand. And trust in the brand is built over a period of time. It is what you, not only you communicate, what you speak, but it is also what you demonstrate and deliver. I think, for a product category like real estate, it is very important to define your values, communicate them well, stand for them, and hopefully create a good proof of delivery over a period of time to enjoy that. So, talking about the brick and mortar system, brick and mortar product that you are selling, in addition to that, creating the moments for the customers, that's also very, very important. So therefore, what I have seen is that more evolved brand would like to not just sell the brick and mortar. They would also like to speak about the emotional benefits, about the security, about the comfort, that you get, and how do you build that community. So that's my take on this, Vandana.
That's quite insightful, thanks. Jayesh, how do we strike that balance?
I think the balance can be only created when the two things are connected. Otherwise, no need of balance, right? So when a data-driven in market today, like when 22 years back when I started my career, getting a data that in this building at Water it sold was a mammoth task. You can never get a data. But today, if a developer, and this is applicable to both consumer as well as developer. When someone approached to us that, okay, 5 lakh square feet to be construct, in today data available at a click of a button, you will get to know who's buying, where is he staying, which community is, what rate they bought it. With so much rich data, when a brand approach with the market, with the product, and if the right product is launched, there is always buyer for the same. In 22 years, I have observed that most of the projects fail because the product given or launched is not something which market want. Either it is a wrong carpet or is a wrong configuration, is it so many other, because there is no undo to product. I always say a wrong product, a wrong size, and there is no undo to it. Because the stake invested, time invested, money invested is so high that it will come at a cost. And no developer will afford to take a call like that there is undo to it and let's change the plan. With this much rich data available today, a good connect and a good emotional connect can be achieved with the buyer, whether it is an affordable homes, whether it is a mid-luxury or a premium. You can certainly create that connect immediately and ensure that the required trade-off of volume, velocity, and value can be achieved for all the launches which we have done so far.
Lovely. In agencies, when we are briefing our creative directors, we make sure we don't give them data.
Yeah.
So that's why the balance becomes even more difficult, because they are working on emotions, they are working on their high energies. Yeah. Yes. Coming to Bhavik. Yeah. Anything you would like to say to newer developers? What should they prioritize and why?
See, if you see the last decade trend, there are two trends that have come out strongly. One, all the branded players are planning to go big. All the small players are trying to consolidate. So what is happening is the smaller players are trying to merge with larger players, and the larger players are trying to plan national expansion, because initially used to happen, the access to the capital was difficult. Now with the IPOs and a lot of other investment opportunities and private equity people coming in, the fund is available based on your appetite, how much you can sell in the market. So when a new developer enters, what he should do from a brand perspective, which will lead him to good sales and then subsequently to a good reputation as a goodwill. First, the developer has to be very clear, which in normally the business line says that he should know very clearly what he wants to do. What is the reason why he has come into existence of doing this business? Because there is Raju Builder, there is Ramesh Builder, and there is a branded player, right? If you see the chain of evolution of consumer in India, and not just in real estate, across all the sectors, all consumer brands, customer never says a product. He actually talks about brand. I'll give you a class example. I was interviewing one candidate last week for a site head role. And I said, if you have 3 lakh rupees, budget is not an issue. You need to buy a phone, latest phone. What will you buy? So I said, you give me names of the brands that you would like to select. And he gave iPhone, Samsung, and he said Vertu. I said there are more than 32 brands who are big brands existing in the mobile segment, and you have just mentioned 3. Imagine what happened to the 29 brands. It actually didn't even existed in his mind. So when he goes in the store, he's basically asking only those 3 brands, his touch, feel, experiences of those 3. That's exactly what happens in real estate. So if little more to explain, if you understand India as mythologically, it starts from all the kings used to have palaces to showcase to his people and across other kingdoms that, he is the king because he has the best house or palace in the world, right? Rightly said by him, Chaitanya, buying home is the biggest emotional and financial decision a person can take in his life, whether he is poor, rich, ultra rich, or for example, even Mukesh Ambani has to show Antilia to people to that, he is the richest guy. What now happens is when it is the biggest emotional and financial decision, this decision who a customer takes is basically not just getting impacted to him, but to his entire family. Normally what you happen, you buy a watch and we are friends. I said, Vandana, the watch is not looking great. Probably you will stop wearing that watch, you'll use something else. But in a home, if someone as a friend says, this is not a good location, goons are down, very difficult to reach there, you can't shift the house because it's a big ticket value. So generally what happens, the developer needs to understand this, that gone those days when we started earlier our career, it was seller's market. The developer had no clue.
Yeah.
He wants everything FSI usage, and I'm sure he will smile also because that's how used to be the brief to the design team. 10 lakh square feet है, पूरा FSI use होना चाहिए. वो क्या size का बन रहा है, whether it is comfortable, entry is there, whether toilets are there, no vastu, nothing. And the customer is to buy. But what has happened, the evolution, the customer has become more involved. He knows a lot of info. He's traveled globally. So now what he looks at, it is saying that I will only buy if there is vastu there, if there is a good clubhouse, if it's a good location, the delivery track record of the developer is there. And all these things have led now to the developer that, what Jayesh said, you cannot go in the market with a wrong product. Yeah. So as a new developer, he needs to know that. Third most important thing that the developer who's a new guy needs to know, is he going to live that promise that he is making to the people? Imagine now a Mercedes as a brand, he says Maybach is a luxury car, and when the customer comes in his car, there is a display guy who doesn't know anything about luxury. He's in torn shoes, no branded stuff, he's stinking, and he's selling to a customer profile who's probably 300, 400 crore, and he's selling a 5 crore car. There's a mismatch in the vision of the developer versus the experience that the customer is getting. And that's where the disconnect happened. He will go back and say, I'll never buy from this product. Other thing in this sector
every touch
happens,
point.
very important. Other key things, sometimes it happens, the developer has thought of wonderful vision. There is a great sales office done, some crores of rupees have been spent, some international architect has done the design master planning. The last mile guy, which is the security guy. Just imagine, I'll give you an experience, and it's a learning one. One of our customer who bought a Duplay worth 32 crores. He got a lead through digital and he called the call center. The call center caller salary is not more than 25,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So he has no clue. He picks up, let's assume Chaitanya, you are there, that prospective customer. He picks up the phone and he's saying, I have inquired, I would like to look at a Duplay or a penthouse. The caller asks, sir, आपको 1 BHK चाहिए, 2 BHK चाहिए, आप थाना में रहना चाहते हैं या, they have not asked anything to Chaitanya. Chaitanya keeps the phone. In one social gathering, I happened to meet Chaitanya, and Chaitanya says, Bhavik, I actually wanted this project, but I called your call center guys, didn't give an answer properly, and they were asking me for 1 BHK, 2 BHK. We sat with him, we understood what was his requirement, we customized the plan, that transaction happened. But what he said, Bhavik, I'm buying because of this interaction. Otherwise, for your call center, it was a no-no for me in future. So new brand developer who wants to become a brand needs to know this. Every single touch point has to live the same language, cannot deviate from there.
Yeah, brand positioning has to filter down to the last mile. It has happened a client who was continuously advertising on anti-aging treatments and all. I happened to call one of the call centers and the person said that we don't have such a service. So, yeah, Chaitanya, from seller's market to buyer's market, where are we heading?
So I think the shift has already happened. I talked about information asymmetry, and today there's a very clear demand which a customer expects from a developer. So I'll say probably 3 things. One is they expect the brand to be available. They want the brand to be authentic, and they want the brand to be consistent. And if these 3 things need to happen, the developer doesn't have an option but to start creating what he rightly said, Bhavik rightly said, purpose defined hona chahiye. This is the purpose, these are the values, and that need to get cascaded down to all my functions till the last mile. When I say I'm a customer-centric brand, which probably almost many developers are talking about, it doesn't mean that only the salesperson has to be customer centric. Be it a pre-sales, be it post-sales, but even my procurement team, my position team, my finance team, all need to work towards customer centricity. Otherwise, it doesn't solve the entire problem. I can give a classic example. When you look at position, I think which is a moment of truth. I bought 3 years, 4 years back from a brand, and today I'm here to look at a position. I've seen umpteen number of examples, developers not even completing the snagging, desnagging process completely. They just get the OC done, they are just in the hurry to get the position handed over. What you have done, you've actually taken the brand for a toss. Brand is not a short-term play, it's a long-term play. If you are looking at a short-term gain, brand is not for you. So I clearly see it's a bias market, there's a lot of choices. They are very, very demanding, very, very aspirational and experience-driven. Today, when you talk about segments, people are talking about micro segments. They are saying, I am focused on environment-conscious segment. So I'm putting a sustainability, I'm ensuring this there. I'm looking at luxury segment. So my focus has to be very, very personalized to that segment. So that's the shift I clearly see.
Great. Yeah, for a 20,000 mobile, we do so much of check, and here it's a property worth crores and crores. Coming to you, Jayesh. Yeah. As someone who has navigated complex challenges in real estate, how do you see the balance between tactical sales strategies and long-term brand building?
Tactical sales strategy and a long-term brand building. So these are two different aspects, but well-connected both. Now, for example, tactical sales strategy is a very short-term goal. Like immediately in this quarter, we want to achieve this much crores of business. Value, volume, velocity, all that has been defined, because that's a very immediate number which any developers is looking for, a team is looking for. So that's a short term. Whereas brand building exercise is a far vision. It is a vision which anybody who has set, maybe, you know, if it is an old developer, then long back, if the new developer, then where he wants to be after 10 years or 1 year down the line. Again, that brand building positioning has to be break up year-wise. Let me give an example, like a developer wants to be known as a township developer. We all know who is he, right? Now he's perceived that way. That brand positioning has been done. And to do so, all other parameters, like from a land purchase decision to what he makes to how he sells, it's all aligned with that brand vision of township. Like when we go to those projects, infrastructure talks more than a project. That's what the brand building is all about. Some developer says, I want to be a boutique developer in Bandra. He's very happy with that. His area is only Bandra Khar, he will take redevelopment projects, but delivered to the promise made over a period consistently, on time, of the quality, as Chaitanya says, to create that connect. Some developer says, I want to be affordable segment home. I don't want to come to South Bombay. I will be happy to sell homes to the first time home buyer. Okay, let me give an example over here. Like when we started working with a Havre developer and affordable homes, in a pretty long period they have catered to that segment. When we went on a board, we said, "आप किसको घर बेचते हो?" वो बोले, "जो हम पहली बार घर खरीदते हैं उनको बेचते हैं." I said, such a nice word. Let's say my first home. That itself is a campaign. When we launched that, to create the connect with affordable homes, we got Ritesh and Jinelia Deshmukh on a board as a face, just to have that eyeballs to the buyer. When all both together, 10,000 square feet of experience center, good ATL, BTL, 10,000 leads came, 5,000 walking, all numbers which we achieved it didn't stop here. We replicate the same IP in Kalyan, and again the same number came. Now we are again repeating the same IP in some other location for the same brand. Now that brand is known for it. So immediate sales, which you rightly said, strategy is for the, that quarterly or monthly target, whereas brand building is a long term. And any developer which create the right balance first should see where I want to reach. We never say I want to take a plane. We said I want to go to Delhi first. And then you decide the route, whether I should take train or a plane. That's the difference, and that's the right balance which to create to have the volume, value, and velocity. And at the last is a perception. Because brand building is nothing but 7 Ps, but 8th P, which I believe, is how my brand will be perceived in the market after a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line.
Thank you. Very well said. Highly emotional category. So coming to Rakesh, how do you think this role of branding, you have worked in all possible categories, but yeah, we had to stick to real estate today. So what do you think, how the role of branding in sales evolved over time, and especially in our segment?
Okay, so I think how it is evolving is in terms of the media choices. Also, it is evolving in terms of the exposure that the customers have got, the education level, the aspirations have changed, and the media that the customer is getting exposed to. Otherwise, I would say the role that a brand is supposed to play has remained, that's static, that you can't change, The role that a brand is expected to play is to create, a positive desire to own that product. And that is what the entire branding activity in a nutshell is. The only thing is, what I just said was that because of education, exposure, the media choices have increased, and now customers can see you at different places. So therefore, I would say what has become important is for the brand to continue with a vision, a thinking, a thought process, and to carry that in a seamless manner across different channels. Have a uniformity of communication. You can't communicate differently on a digital channel as compared to mass media. Let's say, I would just like to talk about maybe our brand. We generally focus not on the brick and mortar, and we communicate more about the emotional aspects of owning a brand. How, and then when we go to digital, at times, there is a pressure from the digital team that this is where, the pricing works. Give us certain images, give us the tactical pricing and the offer, and this is what works on brand. But at certain times, this is where we have to put a stop to, because we want to be seamless in our communication across the channels. It may look like that it has a short-term implication on some kind of business, but ultimately, what is good for the long term is good for the short term also, is what I believe.
Very thoughtful as your brand is.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Rahul, yeah, you have been driving significant revenue growth through digital channels. So how do you see digital marketing aligning with the brand first sales playbook?
But then I'll divide this question into two parts. Number one, what has happened from the customer side? And again, I'll put across. Is this, yeah, this is working. Thanks. So I'll give into two parts. One is that what has happened from the customer side and how the overall developers transformation has taken place. Number one is the post-pandemic, the average age of customers have moved from 42 to 36 now. Number two is that a lot of millennials are now involved into the decision making. We have also seen that 65% of the decision making is influenced by digital. The contribution of digital into the business, which earlier used to be like a 1-2% or so, is now hovering around say 10 to 15% or so. We are seeing extensive contribution from cities such as Bangalore, Pune, which has a high IT crowd, a lot of working class, are preferring to transact and get first-hand information on that. VSV as a concept is new normal. What is VSV? Is virtual site visits. So they want to do the homework, and that's how the decision becomes very easier. This is what is being happening from the customer side is concerned. Cut to what has happened is that in the last 4 years, there has been a fantastic transformation which is taking place from a developer side, right from the promoters to the next generation who has joined the business, and all the professionals who have the kind of talent who has joined in real estate on the same. So the overall value chain of digital has been seamlessly stitched in. Whether it is the brand awareness can be done on digital, whether it is the information dissemination can be done on digital, whether it is engagement through website or social assets which is being done seamlessly can be done, and including the transaction. So the entire value chain seriously have invested by the developers over a period of time. And hence, in the process, the digital is constantly evolved over a period of time. And the earlier perception used to be that digital, that means equal to number of leads which you are generating, which is fundamentally getting changed because content as a segment is completely getting as one of the core strategy of digital. We have the entire AML piece, which becoming a new normal for predictability of the customers, which is being, or better intelligence to come across on that. Digital is investing into remarketing, lookalikes and everything, which is being the normal. But more and more, they're having larger and smarter tools to predict how to read, what kind of the conversion percentage will get increased onto the same. So the digital is now moving into a digitech, wherein more and more better understanding, better translation of the customers. And I'll give you an example is that traditionally we used to say, who's your target audience? So standardized approach used to be, I have a family who's invested into, I have working class who might be interested into, I have say millennials who will interested into. Digital gives you like a 70 by 70 matrix in which the target audiences can be sliced and diced, and the kind of personalization which can be offered to them. So that is a power of from a carpet bombing to a personalization to now the individualistic in which the relevancy of any of the developer in offering onto the same. Sorry if I complexed it or...
Yeah. Thank you so much. No, quite good. It's all ROI driven. Okay, Bhavik. सपनों का घर.
Yes.
लेकिन कैचमेंट एरिया बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो वहाँ ब्रांडिंग कहाँ काम आती है?
See, 2-3 things. First, as real estate selection process, location definitely comes first, is because location defines his budget, yeah, and location also defines because in the city you want travel time to be less, you want connectivity, you want an ecosystem, socio infrastructure around your house so that you know your family has all those things rather than you taking an outskirts and then traveling for 2 long hours. Another reason why location is because, see what has happened in a city like Bombay, Mumbai, when you go horizontally, say for example from Virar to Churchgate, and you know, I was talking to a lot of customers, and one of the key feedback, an interesting thing, Vandana, I happened to meet a customer who came with his young son who was going to be getting married. So he was saying, sir, I'm staying in Bhandari currently. हम क्यों कांदीवली में लेना चाहते हैं? Because लड़की वाले नहीं तो लड़की देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है. बोलते कि ये आप बहुत दूर रहते हो बॉम्बे की और दहीसर के आगे रहते हो. So I realized, and when I was talking to 2-3 more, I realized generally this is the pattern. As a parent, if you think कि आप जिस लड़के के घर में दे रहे हो उनके कहाँ रहते हो? So location status is very important in college, and I'm sure जो भी बॉम्बे से तो ये definitely हुआ होगा. Sobo was considered at their kings. Anything suburbs Sobo की kids को पता ही नहीं होता था. So if you are staying, the college students of Sobo will say, where do you stay? Oh, you stay in Bandra. Okay, where is Bandra? It's somewhere outside. You have to take a flight to reach in. That was the culture, right? So location plays very important role. Second, why location is because a lot of times if you see, the development of socio infrastructure, the corporate offices happen near around key locations. So agar aaj imagine if you are staying in Virar and there is no railway and you have to come BKC every day, you will spend 3 hours in traveling to reach there. So the Mumbai local allows you to reach there faster. Now with coastal road, now with your BKC ceiling, Atal Setu, freeway and all this, Bombay has become accessible across. So today people staying in Navi Mumbai is reaching faster to my office than I just stay to my office 4 kilometers, but to come from west to east, it takes more time, right? Metro has been a great boon to Bombayites because it really saves and fast. Air condition mil raha hai. Railways have become air conditioned. In our college time, there was no air condition in railways. So location plays that way. And hence people in Bombay have done 2-3 things. One, because the cost of living is very high in the metro, people when they buy as a customer, for example, if I am a consumer or a customer, I am thinking that I am going to buy a home in Andheri, for example. I don't mind not shifting to Bandra and go little 2-3 stations ahead in Andheri and take a bigger area, have a better complex amenity so that my kid, my family, my parents can have a larger ecosystem rather than spend more, smaller area in a prime location. So because of the travel. So people in Bombay generally has done that. Hence location plays a significant important role.
So within the location, if you have 3 builders and 3 projects, then how do you?
So it happens every day with us. So for example, I'll give you, let's take Andheri West, Lokhandwala, and you have all the 3 good reputed brands there. See, what has happened, Vandana, consumers are talking to brand talks to consumer. Like everyone who's buying today a luxury car, say 5 crores, there is every Ferrari, you have Maybach, you have other stuffs, and you have Range Rover, Vogue, Autobiography, and everywhere, right? A brand is having its own personality. And he talks to certain consumer in his language. एक line है, which my promoter keeps telling me, आप हर किसी को जिंदगी में खुश नहीं रख सकते, right? So same change happens in real estate. When you are 3 different projects in the same lane, right? There is a certain consumer who would like to come to you because he thinks, oh, you are an understated luxury. I don't want show off, okay? Then there is someone who is over the top. सब कुछ shiny है, सब कुछ branded stuff है, who wants to shout कि अगर आपने यहाँ लिया है, you have arrived, which is called a noverish luxury.
Correct.
And the third one is someone who's saying value for money. कितना देती है, right? And hence the customer who has deep pockets also will also go there, बोलेगा भाई मुझे ये club house नहीं चाहिए, designer, मुझे ये pool नहीं चाहिए, मुझे stand alone building चाहिए, maintenance कब आना चाहिए, बस अच्छा काम होना चाहिए. And hence the consumer automatically, it's like water, he finds a calling from a brand that he loves to. He may visit all 3 and tell the other brand that you know वो brand अच्छा है, वो कम पैसे में दे रहा है, उसके पास ये है, आप क्यों इतना charge कर रहे हो? He does all that, but finally he in his mind will make up that this is my style, I would like to be there. Lot of times it also happens because of neighbors. I'll give you an example, I'll not name again. A big brand, national brand, a listed entity. So when initially they came up in the market, they came up with all international brands, luxury, some celebrity were attached, consultants, clubhouse was designer. So a lot of times this Marwadi, Gujarati families were deep pockets. They said, नहीं यार ये अपने लिए नहीं है, यहाँ तो सब गाउन में घूम रहे हैं, हमारे ये कल्चर नहीं है, मॉडर्न है, हम नहीं लेंगे. वो जाकर बाजू की बिल्डिंग में लेंगे, बोलेंगे हाँ यहाँ बड़ा 5 BHK का डुप्ले लेंगे, but they will not take. That used to happen, and even it happens today. That is how
Interesting.
it is.
So brand is talking to consumers.
Yes.
So Chaitanya, coming to you now. Is brand actually talking the same language on all possible platforms to the consumer, with the consumer?
So what has happened is, I think the importance of brand, what we have talked about, has gained momentum, but there's still a lot of distance to travel. अभी brand story बनी है, लोग बात कर रहे हैं, but to live that brand, to make it say that I am living that brand, there's still a lot of distance to travel. So I give some examples. When we work with few developers, today everyone wants to be omni-channel because my customer is everywhere, right? He's on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, website, different platforms. And today, okay, I've been told I should have a call to action. I should be able to drop a lead everywhere. Now, when we have seen examples, multiple places, when I drop a lead to a website, probably I get a call. But let's say I drop a lead on other social media platform, I don't get a call back. So essentially what is happening is either my systems are not integrated or my marketing and my pre-sales teams are not integrated. So essentially we find that there is sometimes a organizational capability gap which needs to be bridged so that the brand actually becomes accessible and available. Today, I know maybe a few years back when you say that you should have a customer platform, because when you are doubling your sales, tripling your sales, you can't increase your manpower by 2 times, 3 times for your RMs to say that relationship manager will keep on getting calls. Majority of the calls are, मुझे मेरा account statement चाहिए, statement of accounts चाहिए. We said, why don't you create a customer portal or a platform where people can start getting those answers very easily. They said, no, we don't want to be accessible to the customer because they only will keep on coming with cribs. Said, if you don't give them platform, they have social media to do that. At least you can minimize and de-risk that. So the point is, they are making actions, but it will need a lot of work from an organizational, cross-functional collaboration, technologies and systems to talk to each other, and a shift in the mindset that I actually have to be available and accessible. And there's no harm in doing that.
Yeah, well said. Rakesh, with your brand, a legacy brand, that thoughtfulness, does that get translated to a Thane property, equally good to a South Bombay property as well?
Yeah, why not? See, every customer is important. Whether you sell the apartments, why in Thane, in Virar also, which can be, at the entry level of 40, 50 lakhs, or you sell a home at 100 crores. For a customer, it's a home that may be bought, maybe once a lifetime only. So I think it's very important, and that is where the power of having a brand positioning and also living that brand positioning across various segments that you operate in. You know, offer that value to the customer for that segment what the customer wants. So the needs and requirements of a customer at the entry level could be different as compared to the premium level customers, but then it is extremely important for the brand to live the values and deliver to the customer's expectations. So yes, as a brand, we focus on delivering the value to the customers throughout our projects. And I would say, you know, I mean, I think, you know, we see the equal amount of aspiration and desire for the customers, you know, to own our brand across different geographies, right? So even a 100 crore customer wants the brand, you know, wants to be the proud owner of the brand, you know, as a 50 lakh customer wants to, you know, own that brand. So it's extremely important.
Lovely, thank you. Rahul, I keep coming back to you with AI and data technology. So we are talking about that seamless brand experience. How can AI and data technology help us in creating that? And especially what is being spoken, discussed in boardrooms, and after that, the last salesperson, like we spoke about, how does he get it? So how can AI and data technology can help, sorry.
Absolutely fine, Vandana, you're shooting down all the tech and AIML questions to me. Absolutely fine, because that is the future on that. Right now, there is a large FOMO which is being happening that whether it is AIML, whether I'm being part of it, whether I'm executing, whether it's a part of my strategy, is it into the planning stage, so and so forth on that. I'll tell you one small story about, so we sell around what, 25,000 homes on that, and we launched 2 products at ANAROCK. Sorry, please, this is not a sales pitch, but I'm just giving you a story which is factual on that. So we have 2 models. One is the entire Genie model, which is the entire bot which we have created in-house. And second one is the AML model. It has come from all our clients on 2 fronts. Number one is that they reach out to us, Rahul, I'm sitting on large database. My team keeps calling. Whenever any launch comes in, we do a mass blast, whether it is email, whether it is SMS, whether it is calling and everything. And then over a period of time, after 7, 10, 15 attempts, etc., whatever, my team calls it as dead leads on that. And then every time when I do this exercise, we end up saying that, you know, the quality of leads, the conversion is going down and down and down and down, so on and so forth. What the team has done, they had developed an AIML model, which goes to these leads, which otherwise being called as dead. They bring back to the developer that there is some juice which is still available in these 25, 30, 400 leads onto the same. And from there on, we started generating incremental sales, and the results shows that from dead leads, the AIML tool can track around 4 to 5% of incremental sales. The way machine works is very different from human, because our data pointer is name, mobile number, and email ID. What AIML start tracking is that who's the operator, what is the day of the time. Probably there could be a fight with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever happened, you have no clue on that, but still there is a juice on that. So we are seeing a lot of interesting facts in terms of otherwise being called as dead, and that's how we are seeing incremental sales. The second one in terms of the Genie, again, it talks to every customer, whatever data. You feed in the data, the Genie start talking, whether it is WhatsApp or any of the platform which is being compatible on that. It talks to the leads, it talks to the channel partner, it talks to the existing customers in the script in which you develop upon. And I have one incident which I've told you earlier is that the Genie can set meetings, it schedules site visits, and there are many customers who had walked in without having any physical interaction or any human interaction to the customer. It's Genie talking to each other. One customer walks in to the site, the receptionist or the hostess reaches out, yes ma'am, how can I help you or whatever. No, I want to meet Genie. And like, you know, how will you say there is no Genie? It's machine. So that's the power of the entire bot, the entire AML, which brings on the table the adaptability to handle large volume, the adaptability to engage in a personalized manner, That's the beauty of its coming over. And we enjoy thoroughly because every day is a learning for us.
Great. As it's saying, our time is up, but I'll take few more minutes. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jayesh, in this age, as we are talking about, Ginny is your favorite salesperson there. You just spoke about the storytelling for a mezzanine floor kind of a place. So if you could share that with our audience.
Oh, that's what I think she's referring to, the emotional connect, because
Yes,
7
that-
P's of marketing, which I strongly believe that is applicable to every industry and all the more in the real estate. A wrong product, right place, right price, target group is right, package promoted properly in the right process will definitely sell for sure. But having said that, that emotional connect which is required. Like for example, we were just discussing outside that there is a project in Tardev where there is a loft living. Like, 650 carpet, 2 BHK, 14 feet height, and a small 100 square feet loft is created in the living room. But it was difficult for consumer to understood it. Now, it was not selling or slow selling for whatever reason. Now, product cannot change, as I already told you, few minutes back. What we addressed is a promotional and a packaging. Instead of calling it loft living, because India context mein loft matlab storage. As you were saying कि जो पुराने घर में एक लॉफ्ट बनता था जहाँ पे या तो कोई एडिशनल मेंबर छोटा बच्चे को सुला दो या तो कुछ स्टोरेज करना है तो कर दो. Now that perception is to be changed. We immediately said let's call it villament, like villa and apartments together. And why not to promote to the set of consumer whose data is again saying that 35-40 years of people are buying this size because budget में बैठ जाता है. And उसी रूम में हमने एक कॉर्नर पे स्टूडियो बनाया, एक कॉर्नर पे कुछ आर्ट पेंट रिलेटेड कर दिया, एक कॉर्नर में some art music related. So anybody who comes can relate to one corner and say, okay, this is my area. So hence, emotional connect with the buyer is must at not only, now this aspect is a packaging aspect. But there are so many other aspects which can create emotional connect with the buyer. अगर आप कोई summer में consumer आए और उसको आप कुछ ठंडा ना पिलाओ, that's not a connect. Emotional connect तभी होता है when 5 senses are in the line. Yeah. The moment consumer comes, कुछ अच्छा दिखता है, अच्छा खाना मिलता है, कुछ अच्छी smell आती है, अच्छा बोलता है कोई आपके सामने, तो emotional connect हो जाता है. एक डेवलपर ने लाइटर विंड में बोला था कि ये 7 पीस तो आप हैंडल कर लोगे, बाकी 3 जो हमको हैंडल करने हैं वो बोला मुझे नहीं आते. एंड ही सेड एंड आई एक्चुअली लाफ्ड, ही सेड रियल एस्टेट में 7 पीस तो है इन इंडिया, प्रेस, पॉलिटिक्स एंड पुलिस, ये हमें 3 हैंडल करने पड़ते हैं.
Interesting.
I really love that answer of the person, but yeah, let's concentrate on 7 P's of marketing to create that emotional connect with the buyer to
I
achieve
think
that
there also
number.
you can try emotional storytelling.
Let's make it a attempt.
So
Thanks,
that
man.
comes to the end. So my last question to each one of you, I would expect an answer in one sentence. So what's the next big thing in real estate from branding point of view?
I think it is to be able to cater to the micro segments is the big thing.
Micro
and
segments.
Yeah, and using technology to be able to achieve that. That's the biggest thing. The importance of branding continues, but this is the big thing.
Micro segment, Rahul.
Very difficult to answer in one, but I'll try. It's the technology and AI/ML. It'll all fall into one. This thing is going to be a big thing. It is going to be a big thing.
Great. AI, Jayesh.
I think I will say so many things which are, because obviously these are the answers which even I have, but I must say, in the regime of RERA, जो promise करते हो उतना deliver time पे कर दो. I think that is a big thing which is happening and it should happen. If that happens, I think even a small developer making 2 building will also be a brand, and a developer making 100 building across India will also be the brand.
Yeah. Promise delivered. Yes,
I think,
Bhavik.
Vandana, I would repeat what Chaitanya said. The next big thing in branding in real estate for next 1 decade would be every brand who is saying he is a brand has to live up to his promise and the DNA of his existence across 360 degree, across every single function, across every single person to the last door mile. Because then what you will see is people, because the consumer has evolved, is looking for brands. He will start identifying who is living up to his promise, who is a fake brand, and who is actually living his DNA in every single interaction and touch points.
Customer first in real sense. Yeah. Chaitanya, last word.
कुछ छोड़ा नहीं उन्होंने, but anyways, I'll say still 2 things, maybe a repeat of that. I think building trust is the only option developers are left with, which means host of things. And second is a personalization at scale. You have to use whatever technology, we talked about micro segments, we talked about AI/ML, but we have to genuinely look at personalization at scale to the entire customer journey.
Thank you so much. What a panel, what a panel. Can we have a big round of applause for my panel, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, she actually talked about big round of applause, but मुझे big round of applause नहीं लग रहा है. और जोर से हो जाए, please. Thank you.